Greetings, fellow moviegoers, and welcome to Movie Central, a place to talk about movies, TV shows based on movies, toys based on movies, games based on movies, and rides based on movies. I'm your host, Mr. CCS, and this is my pet gorilla, George. Well, we finally made it to my absolute favorite monster movie of all time. I'm super excited to be covering this movie due to my sheer love of it. But first, before anything else, we have to talk about the full history of how this movie was made, starting all the way back millions of years ago. So, millions of years ago, the planet as we know it was created, and the first major species that lived on this planet were the dinosaurs, who would evolve into what we know today as birds. A giant meteorite struck the Earth, causing all of the crops to be destroyed, allowing the dinosaurs to slowly die of famine. Millions of years later, the fossils of these great beasts were discovered in 1677, and were soon incorporated into the popular culture, including Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's novel The Lost World and the 1933 classic film King Kong. In 1990, American author Michael Crichton, known for his dark and intense science fiction novels, wrote a novel concerning dinosaurs being the main attraction of a large theme park on an island southwest of Costa Rica. The novel was immediately a bestseller and caught the attention of one Steven Spielberg, who immediately pitched Universal Studios a theme park attraction for the Hollywood park before the movie rights of the book were even handed over to the studio. Now, as far as the ride was concerned, Universal delayed the opening to wait for the movie's release so they could have a clear visual inspiration, to which Spielberg agreed. He initially hired Bob Gurr, who designed animatronic for King Kong for the 1986 studio tour attraction, and wanted him to design a full-size dinosaur animatronics for the film. But that was way too overblown a job for Gurr, to which Spielberg agreed and recognized, instead utilizing a mixture of animatronic puppetry courtesy of Stan Winston, as well as state-of-the-art visual effects. He also assembled a large cast, went to Hawaii to shoot a lot of scenes, and ultimately delivered a movie that grossed over $1 billion, being the highest-grossing movie of all time for 4 years, and still to this day remaining on the list, having been re-released twice in theaters in 2013 and 2014, respectively. Oh, and if you're curious, the attraction opened at Universal Studios Hollywood in 1996 to rave reviews, but that's a video for another time. Clearly, this movie was a force to be reckoned with. So, let's see what it really was all about. This is the 1993 classic, Jurassic Park. Paleontologists Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill, and Ellie Sattler, played by Laura Dern, and mathematician Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, are among a select group chosen to tour an island theme park populated by dinosaurs created from prehistoric DNA. Courtesy of Mr. DNA. Thank you very much, sir. Well, the park's mastermind, billionaire John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough, assures everyone that the facility is safe. They find out otherwise when various ferocious predators break free and go on the hunt. The following thing I'm going to say is very important in regards to the channel and in regards to my personal opinion. This is hands down my favorite monster movie, my favorite horror movie, and one of my favorite movies of all time, period. The storytelling is fantastic, with a story in regards to science as well as morality. It works very well, and has always worked since its inception in 1993. I always call this Spielberg's masterpiece, Jaws being a close second. So, with that said, let's do my usual breakdown and talk about more what I love about this film. So, starting off with the characters, we have some of the most iconic characters in any monster movie. Starting with Alan Grant, Sam Neill portrays Grant as a sour, cynical paleontologist who loves doing what he does and is an expert on the animals he studied. However, when the situation gets dire, he takes it seriously and does his best to protect the children he's forced to protect. That said, he is still a bit of a douche regardless of the situation. Just look at what he does to traumatize them. What a jerk. Regardless, you have a great leading man and a very great performance. Too bad they don't know what to do in the sequels, especially in Jurassic World. As far as Ellie Sattler goes, she's the complete opposite of who Alan is. She's a lot less cynical and risks her life quite a bit. I would be scared to go into the circuit room to reactivate the power with dinosaurs running rampant, but she's able to do so and is able to escape, making her a very brave character and one of the best in the movie as a whole. My favorite character, though, is Ian Malcolm. Come on, you can't doubt his charm. You have his laugh, his all-black outfit, and the iconic shot of his abs that make him the greatest part of the movie. In all seriousness, I like that he's willing to risk his life for the girl as well, and also how charming he is as a second dad. Yeah, that's great that the sequels got him right. As far as Lex and Tim go, they're a ton of fun. They both feel like real kids and are very different from each other, which makes them seem more real. Moving on to some of the adults, we have the iconic Sam Jackson as Ray Arnold, who has some of the very iconic moments, such as "Hold on to your butts," which was a line that was so good they brought it into Kong Skull Island, but I'll talk about that movie another time. I also love his freak out when Dennis Nedry's computer thing comes up on the screen, and he's just saying, "Please, goddammit." Speaking of, talk about instantly recognizable. Wayne Knight as the dim-witted and completely sleazy Dennis Nedry is always entertaining. His lines like "We've got Dodson here" and the "You didn't say the magic word" always stick out to me. Of course, there's also his iconic death scene where he's killed by the Dilophosaurus, which was one of the scariest parts of the movie to me, but I'll get to there soon. Yeah, he's a sleazeball, and I like seeing him every single time I put the movie on. As far as Gennaro goes, he's just simply dino food for all I care. His death is very iconic. I mean, he's eaten straight off the toilet. That's a lot of fun. He's actually not using it, but still, it's iconic nonetheless. Muldoon was enjoyable to watch as well, and I like his hunter identity whenever he carries around that trademark rifle, but that's about it. Finally, we have John Hammond, a character I find more interesting every time I rewatch the movie. He's ambitious, yet flawed as a businessman, desperately trying to make fun for everyone, but at the same time fails to realize that dinosaurs are unpredictable animals and they will go through many motions to get what they need, which is how he grows throughout the course of the movie. I have to congratulate Richard Attenborough for delivering a really good performance as John Hammond and the legacy he left behind. Now, I'm going to talk to you about some of the dinosaurs in this movie, at least the ones that left an impact. Let's start with the Dilophosaurus. They only have one scene, but they delivered a very frightening one that still holds up to this day. Their seemingly innocent chirping that turns into a violent hiss as they use frills and spit venom to become intimidating creatures you can only imagine in the deepest, darkest parts of the jungle. Yikes. The main antagonists of the movie, however, are the Velociraptors, the smartest and most sadistic of the dinosaurs. They can find you when hidden well, they can run at breakneck speed, and they can even open doors with their claws. And you thought the shark from Jaws was sadistic. However, the most iconic dino in this movie, fitting as she's the freaking logo, is the T-Rex, who gave us one of the most frightening and intense sequences in all of cinema to me. This is an iconic character, and she will continue to be one as long as the franchise's legacy continues to prosper. Oh yeah, and that roar is way too iconic. Even if you don't know the movie it came from, you've definitely heard it. Anyways, that's all I really have to say about the characters and the dinosaurs. Now we move on to the effects. There are a ton of great practical effects in this movie, such as the animatronic work for the dinosaurs that are all featured, especially the hatchling raptors, the sick triceratops, the Dilophosaurus in the jungle, and the face of the Brachiosaurus. They were nice to see every single time. The T-Rex also has a great puppet attached to her too, so there's that. I can also commend Jurassic Park for its stunning visual effects. The iconic shot of the Brachiosaurus grabbing leaves near the beginning looks great to this very day, as do the Velociraptors and especially the T-Rex. They all look great over 3 decades later and were very cool to see in 3D on the big screen back in September of 2023 when I experienced it. As far as the music goes, we have yet another iconic score from the maestro himself, John Williams. He was able to deliver a score that will stick with everyone instantly. The sheer iconography present in the beautiful score is absolutely perfect, and has always been perfect since 1993, which is the greatest aspect in regards to Williams as a composer. Finally, we have the scare factor, which is absolutely wonderful. While this is a PG-13 movie, it is still frightening as all hell. The scene I will always remember the most from this movie in regards to fear are the scenes involving the T-Rex, specifically that scene with the rain in the night with the vans. It was very great and well made. But scenes like this raptor stalking the kids or the Dilophosaurus scene both have a frightening edge to them, and those were aspects that worked in their favor easily because it made the movie way more intimidating and frightening. So yeah, that's all I feel like I have to say. I could go on forever about how much I love this film, but I've made my point, and I will always respect the movie for being as great as it is, even after all the time has passed, which is why it earns a 10 out of 10. The film's legacy will never, ever go extinct. I'm glad to have given you this journey into an adventure 65 million years in the making. However, next week I'm going to be talking about another adaptation of a big gothic horror novel, which I'm not looking forward to. I'll get there when I get there. With that said, my name is Mr. CCS, this is Movie Central, and that, my friends, is a wrap. See you next week.